Hello everyone, good morning and welcome to the class. Let us create EKS cluster which takes some time. So first let's create the cluster. Let's first do AWS configure. Okay. Get the right credentials for access key. Let me put the secret key also. So now let us run the EKS command to spin up the cluster. This takes some time, so let me start the cluster quickly. This should create the cluster. Cluster name, version, the region. I would like to create in US East one. Any region should be fine. US East one, some worker group name, type of instance is T2.medium. Minimum, it will create a cluster with one node. It can go up to 5. So manage node groups. So that will create the cluster. Invalid version of Kubernetes. Let's say I'll put 1.21. Okay, that will create the cluster. It may take some time to spin up the cluster. Once the cluster is created, we could see that in the US East 1 region. US East 1. So yeah, our cluster will be ready in some time. Meanwhile, once cluster is ready, I would like to do all the deployments from Jenkins. So let us also launch our Jenkins server. I think this was the Jenkins server. Okay, something went wrong. Cloud4Make is a demo cluster. You may wish to delete. Okay, there was already that cluster, it seems, in US East 1. Cluster stack might be available. CloudFormation. CloudFormation templates will be used to spin up this cluster. So yeah, okay, let me just delete this. minimum, maximum, demo cluster, US East 1. Let's change the name. Already the CloudFormation templates were available. West 1. CloudFormation stack, operation error, create stack HTTP response status code, already existing exception, already existing. North Virginia, US West 1. Okay, already there were some existing stacks. Or else we could have given a different name. Yeah, here it was cleared. Let me try now. In US East 1. Also, let us change the name. Meanwhile, let us check our Jenkins server. CloudFormation and EC2. Yes, Jenkins server is started. EC2 user. Start Jenkins. So Jenkins is started. Let's log in. Right, this is our pipeline we were working, right? So we need to add a new phase for Kubernetes. So before adding the Kubernetes stage, like let's suppose here from Jenkins, I want to run a job, right? So from here, I should be able to run Kubernetes commands. Am I correct? So just let me create a small job if it can run Kubernetes test. Okay, if it can run. So once it is able to run Kubernetes commands and connect to the cluster, we shall enhance it for the stages. So here I would like to run some Kubernetes commands. Okay, but before that, let us check from the command line directly, isn't it? Can we run kubectl? Kubectl, is it installed here? I don't think so. Kubectl version, right? Kubectl not there. So we need to install kubectl, like you might have installed on Windows or any machine. See here, if you observe, we are creating a cluster from a remote node. This is my local machine laptop. From my laptop, I am spinning a cluster, right? So it could be a Jenkins server as well. Whatever server you want to connect to the cluster, you need to have kubectl installed, right? So let us install kubectl. There were official commands as well on the website. You could also use it to install. I'm using curl kubectl. This is official a command available, official link from where you can download the kubectl. Okay, and then once it is installed, you can provide executable permissions for this using chmod, and then move this to usr local bin kubectl so that it can be accessible. Right now, check the version. Okay, you can see the version of Kubernetes, kubectl. Fine. We didn't connect to the cluster yet. Okay, we'll do that. But yeah, you could connect now. Also, make sure you're doing AWS configure. I think, yeah, it was all there. Fine. So now, yeah, once you can see here, like I should be able to do that from here also, right? From a job as well. So let us try doing it. Kubectl. Sorry, simply version, right? I'm running a shell script. It should be available for Jenkins also. To make sure I could run kubectl from Jenkins, it might be from pipeline as a code, or it might be from a UI, whatever it is, it should be available. See, it was saying, okay, it has printed everything. Client version, yeah, I think it was, why it was showing this error? It was identifying it, but where is configure? Okay. I mean, the HTML format, it was showing something like that. It was giving the error. We could also do something like, if you just want to see a brief version kind of, we can do short client. Okay, so let us use this on the Jenkins page. Okay, good. So yeah, it was working fine. Good. So let's go to Jenkins server. Okay, I'm doing this. Can I also do this? Get nodes. Can I connect to the cluster? Obviously no, because like cluster is not at all ready. We have to do something for it to connect, right? So those things we have to handle. First, let it finish. So what is the next step? Cluster should be ready. And once cluster is ready, okay, from wherever you are creating a cluster, whether you create from a command line or whether you create from the user interface, okay, whenever you create a cluster from whichever machine you create, in that machine, by default, there will be a folder created. If you go to users, admin, yeah, see, under users, you will see something like a .cube folder, like .docker, .aws. Whenever you do AWS configure, this folder will be created, which will have the credentials. Similarly, Docker credentials, if you have installed Docker on your local machine. Similarly, .cube. Okay, this will have all the configurations. If you just open, yes, so many clusters I might have connected some time back. All of those information will be present in this kube config. Okay, so yeah, so that is the kube config file which need to be present on whichever machine you want to connect. Let's say I want to connect from local machine. Yes, that's having kube config. So from here you can run kubectl commands, get nodes, pods, whatever it is. Okay. Similarly, if you want to connect from Jenkins server, yes, on Jenkins server also you need to have that kube config file available. Got it, all of you? That's how you connect to a cluster from any location. Right? In real time also, you need to have that kube config file available. Okay, that's all. So it will take some time. Let's see the status of our cluster, like how it was creating. It is in North Virginia. And yes, see, it was in the status of creating. If you just go here, server endpoint will be created, certificate authorities, some roles, and you will see under compute the nodes. I'm going to create one node group with one node inside. Okay, so it should help us see all of it. Let it be. It will take some time to spin up. Meanwhile, what we can do is, yes, how do you copy that kube config file to Jenkins? It's nothing but just a file. Okay, that should be of this format. Let me copy that file for you. And you should not be creating at some random location. Okay, under the root user, because with root I have installed kube. Here, create a directory called .cube. Okay. Oh, it is already there. Okay, dot cube is already there. Okay, fine. Go to dot cube. And here, inside dot cube, we will be creating something called config file. That is nothing but kube config. Here we'll place this file format is again the official format available in the AWS documentation. That's all. Okay, here you have to put the server endpoint which you are seeing, cluster certificate CA, and then the cluster name here. That's all you have to do. For now, just save it. Okay, once the cluster is ready, we'll put those configurations so that from Jenkins you can connect. Right, that's all. So from here you should be able to run, where is our test Kubernetes job? Yeah. From here, you should be run kubectl get pods. See, if you are running get pods means obviously you could run apply command and get your manifest file ready. So you may run here kubectl get pods or else kubectl apply, whatever, right? So now, okay, everything is set. Now what shall we do? We shall do it from the pipeline as a code, right? That is our interest. So let me launch a new window. Let us launch our project. Open our project, which is address book. We have our Jenkins file return till Docker, right? We were doing Docker run, but instead of this Docker run, let us do kubectl apply. Rather than running a individual Docker host, we shall do it through Jenkins. Okay, we shall do it through Kubernetes. So, okay, this is the complete stage. I'm commenting it. Okay, save it. Now we'll start. Oh, now we'll start one more stage. Again, this part. Okay, now deploy on Kubernetes. Right? And then, yeah, we don't need any SSH block. We don't need any credentials. Just let me delete all of this. Okay, make sure the block is closed properly. And what is this for? Okay, this is for pipeline block. Perfect. Okay, so what now? Let me just say run the app on Kubernetes cluster. So if you want to run the app, you are able to run kubectl commands means kubectl apply -f YAML file. So where is this YAML file? Let's create a YAML file here. Okay. So let's say Java maven app.yml. Meanwhile, check the cluster status. It should be spinning up the cluster. Okay. So that is going on now. Yeah. We already know how to create a deployment object and a service object, right? So I'll just put this file here. Okay, you know this. Anyway, I'll go through the file. See, app version, deployment object, some name, some label, okay? And then some key you need. Yeah, you need to create your secret key as well on this new cluster, right? So once the key is created, I'm going to give the name as Docker key, sample container coming from the private image. I'll talk about this. Just come here. Okay, this is all everyone knows. And another interesting part is we are using load balancer service. Earlier, we could not use load balancer service because of the constraints, limitations we have with the previous setup. But now, yes, load balancer service so that it will create a DNS. Okay, then what is this? Why do I use tag name for build number? Because see, I don't want to use any random image. I want to use the image whichever built here. See, we were building an image. Yeah, if you remember, build it, push it to your Docker Hub, then run that image, not some random image. Okay, this is what I want to do. I'm replacing, you may replace entire thing with image name or else with a build number. Okay, so what I would like to do, how do I do that? Okay, first let me put the file name. It's a Java Maven app. Okay, but how do I replace that value? How to pass the value? If you want to replace it with environment variables, okay, you can use something like there is a tool called env subst. Okay, using that you can replace the values. Initially, this should be a shell command. Okay, now I'll call this env subst. Substitute the environment variables into this file, java maven app.yml. Once this is substituted, pipe that output into this kubectl apply command. And you don't need to pass the file name again, just hyphen will include that particular file. That's all. I'm repeating. This file, deployment and service file, is having some environment variables for build number because I just want to build a particular image. So for that, how do you replace that value? I just want to run kubectl apply. So first replace the environment variables using env subst. So once the variables are replaced, pipe it into kubectl apply command. That's all. Any questions from anyone? Please let me know. That's all is a small stage. First of all, you need to establish a connection on the Jenkins server itself. Then you have to run this. Once the cluster is ready, we'll establish the connection from Jenkins server and run this. Any questions, let me know. Please check once. Any questions from anyone? Okay, cluster is getting ready. We could check that on the console. Okay, see it was active, and when you go there, yes, server endpoint, CA, certificate authority, And yeah, everything is going to be ready. And compute, here you will see the node group. This is the name I have given for the node group, and one node in the cluster which is of type t2.medium. Right, it was almost ready. Right, let us update, let it get completely, it will do all the heavy lifting for us, EKS service. Meanwhile, we have a file on the Jenkins server, right? Yeah, config file. Vim config. Okay, here you need to put the server endpoint. So server endpoint is ready, so I can just place it. And then the CAcert. Okay, and then the cluster name. Cluster name is, you should put exactly the same name, demo Kubernetes. Okay, that's all. Okay, now once it is ready, I should be able to, yeah, see, cluster is ready. So from this machine, I don't need to create again the kube config because it's already there. You could get the nodes, you could do anything. You are getting the nodes means you could do anything, right? Get pods, right? You can do anything here. You can apply the file as well from Windows. Now let's check whether I can do it from here also. kubectl get nodes from the command line of the Jenkins server. Yes, it is connected because we have created kube config file. From any remote machine you can connect. You don't need to step into the server. Okay, and yeah, we need one more thing here. Here we are using some secret, right, which is Docker key. This secret should be created. You may create from your local machine on Jenkins. This is only once, so you can do it. I have already shown you how to create a secret from your credentials from the file. This is another way to do that. Docker registry key. Okay, this is another way you can do it. The key name is Docker key. Docker server. Docker.io. Docker username. This is another way. Okay, and then Docker password. I'm stopping the screen share for a second. I'll enter the password here. kubectl get secret. Okay, so secret is created, fine. Now this code is pushed, I can run the pipeline. Okay, now let's go to the job, Jenkins. Where is our pipeline? Do we have our pipeline? Okay, this is the one. And what are the stages? Yeah, deploy the Docker image, right? This is what we have. Earlier we used to do Docker and I have commented it. Now let us run this job. Anything else missing? Created the secret, written the deployment file. Yeah, let us build it and see any corrections, modifications required we shall do. Yeah, actually build server should be there, right? Build server might be missing. Here there are something like a build server. Yes, build a server. So let me quickly spin up another EC2 instance, which works as a build server. Amazon Linux 2, T2.micro, AWS key, and allow all traffic. Launch. This is going to be our build server. The IP. The image should be pushed here. It should be with a tag 27, right? That's a 28 is the build number. So I should have an image with the tag 28. That image should be deployed onto the cluster, not any other random image. Let us see. Okay, login succeeded and it was pushing the image. Yes, 28 image pushed. And that should be deployed. Something gone wrong. Run on the app cluster. env subs unable to do recognize. No matches for deployment in version apps v1. Unable to recognize. No matches for kind of service v1. env esh env subs java maven app. Oh, first of all, I missed doing one thing. Kubernetes test job. Let me first test here. Yeah, get pods. Let's try if it can connect from here. Okay. So what it is saying, does not find the resources. Okay. So it is not connecting the cluster from here. This is actually Jenkins user, right? Jenkins user. Let me just try sudo command not found when you do with a sudo. We have installed it as a root user, right? We were trying to run it as a regular user. You could also, instead of every time configuring it, you could also do a replay here. There should be a replay option. Oh, this is not a pipeline job. So, okay. Go to configure. Let us put the path. Actually, it wasn't. We have moved it to USR local bin. Sorry, bin kubectl. Bill now. So Jenkins user should be able to access the kubectl. So yes, it was giving you the list. So this is how you should call kubectl. Okay, as a Jenkins user. Now it's not simply kubectl. Okay. Now again add commit push and run the pipeline. Again, env subst. Unable to recognize the stdin. Pipe operator. Actually, yeah, here again sudo should be there, right? That is missing one thing. Another thing is it was not taking the input. Instead of running the entire pipeline, let me try here in the replay. It should be sudo is missing here. It doesn't take the change. It started from the beginning. Meanwhile, let me just do test here. Kubernetes test. Configure. I just want to check if env subst is working here or not. Env subst. Okay, the command is available. Sudo. Yes, okay, it worked. It worked and deployment happened. It is sudo missing, okay? You could also put here and push it later. Now, you may check the cluster from anywhere. Deployments were ready. So kubectl get kubectl get deploy. Anyway, we have learned these things. Deployment object. Inside this replica set. Everything, every concept is same. Pods on the node. One worker node we have. Interesting part is service, right? We could not create load balancer service, but now, yes. See, you have a DNS. This is a DNS like .com. Instead of using a particular IP, node IP is a load balancer. How is this possible? Whenever you create a service of type load balancer, in that particular region, go to EC2 management console for that particular region, which is North Virginia, where your nodes are running. My Kubernetes worker node is running here, right? Do you see that? Which is a part of this cluster. This one, IP208. Okay, this one, IP208, this one. Okay. So in the same EC2 console, just go to something called load balancers. So this is pinned up actually at the backend. This DNS name is nothing but, okay, let me show you. Click that. Okay, so you will see the DNS here. This is nothing but the one you saw here. AE60. AE60, right? So this is how load balancing works. See, 88 is forwarded to 33097. 33097 is a node port. Node port is also enabled, but it is not like you don't need to access on the node. Okay. So if you just go to this, hit that on port. You should be seeing whatever is there on 8080. It may take a couple of minutes to get started. Got it, all of you? So this load balancer is pinned up at the back end. It uses native cloud load balancers. In bare metal kind of, we could not do it because you could have your own load balancers, right? But we don't have it. So this is how we did. Understood the load balance service, which we missed on the normal kind of setup. Interesting, right? All this deployment happened through Jenkins. If you want to see whether this write image is replaced through environment subst or not, you could do one more thing. If you want to check that, once it is running, you could also check the YAML file. Okay, cat that file. So that you will see whether the variable is replaced, which variable is replaced and all. Right, just cat the file on the Jenkins server console, or see another best way is which image is deployed. You can see like this, right? kubectl describe deploy. Deploy name is Java Maven app. Okay, when you describe it, it will show you which image it is running. Yes, do you see that? 31, tag 31, not any random one. Which pipeline is ours? 31. Do you see that? Or else you may put a cat command here to see on the Jenkins file itself. Anything is fine. Any questions? Understood the concept? Do you want me to run it again? Or any other questions? Oh, this should be available. Oh, 1 minute. 8080. Ah, yeah, that is the endpoint is address book, right? I forgot to put the endpoint. Okay, port 8080 and the endpoint, like it's a var file. So, address book. This is your application. Let me quickly do another run, one more run with all the updated changes. It should be, image should be 32. Console output. You understand this pipeline thoroughly. Okay, these are the real scenarios which you have to use in day in and day out. So practice them thoroughly. Okay, this pipeline, you should have good clarity, understanding on this pipeline. You will have multiple pipelines. You may have multiple pipelines in your projects which you need to handle of the same sort. So do you see here? This 32 is built, it should be pushed, it should be deployed, not any random one. Okay, env subs working. It will also display the file because we just want to do it, but it was displaying with the variable only. We should, after push, we should do it. It's okay, let it be. Okay, but here let us see this. Here it should be 32. When you describe it, yes. Okay, right image was being deployed. Any questions in the pipeline? This is the EKS cluster. Any confusions anywhere if you lost? This completes the Kubernetes part. Monday we shall be starting with Terraform. Any more questions you have? Followed everyone thoroughly? See, it is as important as, like I said, this is the paid service. So plan accordingly and do the hands-on. And it is very important that, okay, we have worked on, okay, we have a cluster. It's very important to delete it from the command. Again, ekctl delete cluster. Name of the cluster is demo k8 and the region US East one. This is very important. Again, deleting also takes some time. Okay, but you should do this so that it will delete in a right order. This is again very important to do. I'm deleting it. If you have any questions, you can still ask me. It will again take some time to delete. See, first it will clean up the load balancers created by Kubernetes objects of kind service or ingress. We have learned ingress, right? At that time I told you don't create load balancers. Yes, this service should be of type cluster, but ingress will be of type load balancer. So that you will be accessing your application on the ingress DNS with a path-based routing. It was still active. It will again take some time to delete every component. So yeah, that is all from my end. Any questions you can post on the group. First do the pipeline completely till Docker. Okay, then at this Kubernetes stage. First understand till that part. Okay, you can learn Kubernetes, which will take some time. Okay, but first complete the pipeline till Docker stages. Later on, once you know how to spin up the cluster and all, then you could include this stage quickly. All right then. Bye everyone. Have a great weekend. See you all.